Happy birthday to you.
Shut up.
Happy
All right.
birthday to you.
See, the algorithm,
Happy birthday.
it's all about
Lee.
how many people you keep
Happy
watching in the first like 15 seconds. And we just got everyone to turn this off.
No, that's
because,
not true. Because you're being a penis wrinkle. Your response is, thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting that I'm 25 now. That's your response.
I did just turn 25, so thank you very much. That's happy. I'm happy about it. All right. Shall we get to a story that might actually keep viewers here? Might actually keep them here watching. Should we do that?
I'm sure you looking embarrassed and me singing would keep people here for a long
time. All right. Let's get to a story, shall we? I'm joined, unfortunately, by Eleanor Goldfield.
It's still
welcome to the show. All right. Let's get into what's going on down in Florida, where they just passed a bill. We have this story. We have a lot of stories coming up. You know, we got some good shit on this show. So thank you guys for being here. I'll throw that out there. Thanks for joining us. This is what we call Common Censored. This is the day of the week where I'm joined by Eleanor Goldfield. It's also a podcast called Common Censored, so check it out. But here's what's going on down in Florida. A new Florida K-12 history curriculum teaches that slavery was beneficial for Black people. So Florida just, you know, they're just always advancing. They're like the kind of just the vanguard of human society. Always advancing, aren't they?
Advancing, it is one way to look at it. Advancing towards, I always choose going the wrong way.
Because you don't want to be that close to me. Is that what it is?
No, I feel like you don't want me that close. Now everyone can see the ring light. Advancing towards outright fascism, which I feel like Florida is the canary in the coal mine in a lot of ways, which interestingly enough, that whole metaphor, canary in the coal mine, oftentimes meant that it was too late. So I don't know if I like using that.
Yeah, especially if you're not really hyper focused on the canary, so it just dies and you just stick around for another 2-3 weeks, which is kind of what we're doing on this planet.
So what I'm saying is that we should put Florida in a cage and let it die. No, I'm kidding. So this is indicative of the direction that the nation wants to head, which interestingly enough is right back around to where it started. Slavery and genocide and the mass oppression of all of the peoples who live here, except for the very, very top percentage of people.
I think you're being a little hard on Florida. I think that we should teach all the benefits of slavery. We should teach about how the Jews in the Holocaust learned how to diet. We should talk about how child laborers in the 1800s in America learned how to mine for coal. Very useful. True. Teach how sweatshop laborers currently in Bangladesh are learning about frugality, living on 10 cents a day. We could teach how the victims of Jeffrey Epstein learned how to talk to presidents and princes. You know, that's quite a skill. We could learn how we could talk about how women who knew Bill Cosby learned how to cover their drinks. We could talk about how the slaves who built the pyramids got really ripped, like right in this area, right? Like that definition. I don't know what that muscle is. The upper shoulder, it's like right near the collarbone. I feel like they probably were just like fucking yeah, and like could just like flex that on at any given moment. So there's a lot of benefits through the years that it's just been left out of history. You know,
I agree, Lee, and you know what it is? It's really it's a focus on the negative. And in this country, we're really about focusing on the positive. So you know what?
Yeah, it's positive.
And the forced removal and genocide of the indigenous peoples allowed them to see new parts of the now called U.S., so that's nice.
So it's like tourism, you know,
right? Forced tourism, really.
People have been so hard on that, and really, it was a nice vacation that hasn't ended yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's really what this is about, is it's focusing on the positives, like
Mm-hmm.
good vibes only.
Yeah. Good vibes only here.
Yeah.
Good vibes only Florida. Or it's also that they're cunt faces.
Hey, I resent that. Cunts are lovely.
You use the word
I know.
cunt far more than I do.
I know.
For teaching, so let's see. They're teaching that slavery gave African American, this is the new curriculum, African Americans beneficial quote unquote skills. The Florida Board of Education on Wednesday adopted the new 216-page guidelines for K through 12 education. The section on antebellum history states that, quote, instruction includes how slaves developed skills, which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. God, it's as bad as it sounds. It's fucking insanity.
Yeah, no, like this is not
It's
hyperbole.
insanity.
Like this is legit as bad as it sounds.
Also, in a separately but relatedly in this curriculum, in a state that saw Jim Crow era atrocities, including the Ocoee and Rosewood massacres and lynchings like the Newberry Six, the new curriculum says students should be taught about, quote, acts of violence perpetrated against and by African Americans, unquote. Florida State Senator Geraldine Thompson, who fought to include a lesson about the 1920 Ocoee massacre, in which a white mob murdered dozens of black people trying to vote, told the Washington Post that the curriculum, quote, suggests that the massacre was sparked by violence from African Americans, blaming the victims.
Well, if you're trying to violently vote, Lee, that's not okay.
Well, just voting is violence. I
Right.
think you're forgetting. When black people vote, that is a violent
violence.
act. It is saying we disagree with white America, and how dare they? How dare they when white America taught them all those skills?
Right. I will say, somebody mentioned the Underground Railroad. Wow. Well,
Now you've even lost the word railroad. So for those who don't know, the long-term running joke on this show is Eleanor can't say railroad workers, which is a little difficult. However, you used to have no problem with
railroad. Okay, it was just that one. I slip up.
It's actually it's metastasized. The W has metastasized.
Underground Railroad. See, boom,
nailed it.
Suck it. Okay, so there were actually people that I can't remember where I met. Oh, I met them in LA, and they were around my same age, like around 18, and they legit thought that it was an actual trains
Like actually trains,
like a subway system.
Yeah.
And they graduated high school.
I think I didn't get all the way through high school, but I think in middle school, I honestly had the belief that that a significant part of it was underground. That like they were ferrying people underground to get get them out.
Little rodents.
Whereas really it was just sneaking people through backyards into houses that were safe houses and things like that. And so I think very little of it happened underground.
And that's a word that's used for a lot of things, like, oh, they were organizing underground. Like we weren't actually underground. It was just covert. But yeah.
Right. And grassroots activism does not involve grass. I mean, some are smoking grass, but not. Well,
and sometimes we're like laying in the grass, looking up at the sky.
I don't know if that counts as grassroots activism, though. So it's tough to know what else to say about this story except like fuck Florida. Like it's a level. Here's one point that is not really being covered in the mainstream is that these type of things I think are also a little bit designed to keep activists and those who want kind of equality and justice and want us to get past the systemic racism that just undermines everything in America, the massive undercurrent in America of systemic racism. Those who want to do that, it puts them all on the back foot. It puts everybody on the back foot. You're fighting to have like this insane shit not included in history books. And meanwhile, you're not actually fighting for the larger change that the society urgently needs. So in a way, this is perhaps, I don't know how bright these far right-winger nutbags are, but in one way, it could be a tactic. It's you put this crazy shit in the history books and let them fight about that. Meanwhile, we're over here, destroying women's rights. And
I think this also highlights the importance of not using the existing education system in this country as an education system. It is it's used for indoctrination, and it's
True.
used for creating good little workers out of children so that they will become unquestioning proles that will push buttons for Uncle Sam. It's just it's important that we recognize it like that. And of course, there are states that are far better. I mean, all of them, question mark, better than Florida in terms of what is allowed in public schools. But even in my school, when I went to a really good school in Charlotte, North Carolina, and there was a lot of shit that we just did not learn or that we learned incorrectly. And I mean, it was all meant to uphold the myth and the lie that the United States is a genuinely good nation. So we just have to decouple the idea of education in our schools, which is fucked.
Right.
But that is
right.
that is the situation as of now.
And one of the biggest things that U.S. schools are used for is to really teach most of the population, like 95%, to sit quietly in a wooden chair for hours. Right. Like, that's the real lesson. It's one big lesson. Sit still and do as you're told while a superior or adult tells you what to do. And yeah, there is a 5% that is actually highly educated, sent to the best universities. But in general, most of, the elementary, middle, and high school is like, learn how to sit there. Mm-hmm. Learn how to be a cog in the machine. And someone's asking whether school is mandatory in the lower school is mandatory in the United States. And the answer is kinda. There, in a lot of states, you can have homeschooling, but that requires that a parent have the time to just have you home all the time. And it is incredibly difficult on that front. And then most of those states then require that the homeschooled students also prove in testing that they're actually learning something. So
there are alternative schools that have cropped up all over the country. The problem is they are oftentimes not free like public schools are. So the issue is that they're not accessible to folks.
Very true. All right, moving along. Let's get to and everybody, I realized that because I often tell you to go to leecamp.net and sign up. I realized that link was taking people to a page where it was tough to find the free option. So now leecamp.net, it redirects to a different place, which is leecamp.locals.com, which you can sign up for free. And I hope you'll do it. For my birthday.
See.
Sign up for free at leecamp.locals.com. If you want to become a paying member, that would also be awesome. But
you can just hang out.
Do me this favor, hang out, check out the community, become a part of the community, all those good things at leecamp.locals.com.
Like all the cool conversations that you all are having in the chat right now, you can also have over there. And for folks listening after the fact, you can, after you finish making your kale or whatever the fuck you're doing while you're listening to us, you can go hang out with cool people.
Absolutely. They're all there. It turns out almost all the cool people are there except you. Okay. There's like 7 that haven't shown up yet. And so go become a member at leecamp.locals.com. Also, one other thing, we're like 30 or 50 people, it doesn't tell me, short of 50,000 followers on Rumble. So if you're watching rumble.com/leecamp, I hope you will hit that follow button and follow my page. And I'm so close to 50,000. So I'd love to do that. All right, let's move on to the next story about arms exports and the global climate breakdown. What is the connection? Those two things don't have anything to do with each other, right?
So I first wanted to point out that this is coming from an organization called Declassified UK, which they do really fucking cool work. And that this is specifically talking about the UK. Now, if we were to look at the UK's weapons exports compared to the US, whoa, Nelly. I mean, wow. I mean, there really isn't a comparison if I'm being honest. So I actually had. I'm sorry, I didn't send it to you. Sorry. Let me just hold on.
What is happening?
I'm sorry, I didn't send it to you, but there was.
Listen, folks, don't go hard on us. Our producer,
Sucks.
it's actually really sad. He
Oh.
is a loser and didn't do shit.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
Just kidding. There's no producer. No.
So yeah, and I said Whoa Nelly. I'm standing by that.
You're sticking with Whoa Nelly?
You know
Really?
what? I am fucking sticking with Whoa Nelly. I'd like to know the etymology of that phrase though. Okay. So
that's so weird. I wouldn't. Just kidding.
That's so weird. I don't care.
It's so weird. I don't care.
So again, this article is about the UK, which is despicable that they've, for instance, just exported a bunch of fucking depleted uranium.
I already have this one.
Oh, you do?
I had it up.
Oh, well, then I am on top of it.
Except for taking 3 minutes to send me something I already had.
You should have looked over my shoulder, known that you already had it, and said so.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's go down.
I'll work on that. You talk.
Okay. So yes, this one. So basically, the UK compared to the US in terms of arms exports, you can see here the United States. For folks not watching this right now, there's a circle. And
picture a pie. If one guy ate the middle,
Okay,
but then
shut
he
up.
spit up a
Shut
little
up.
bit, like just a little on the corner.
Okay. Are you done?
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So there's a circle, and 40% of it is the United States. That is the global share of exports of major arms. And the UK is this little, it's 3.2%. It's this little sliver. baby sliver. Now, according to this most recent report,
40% is the U.S.
I know, isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Now, according to this most recent report by Declassified UK, they're counting it slightly differently because of a bunch of collaborative efforts, one might say, with other European nations that has pushed the UK's ranking higher than it looks in that pie chart. But I also just wanted to point that out because the comparison is pretty fucking remarkable. So the UK is ranked second in terms of arms exports, and that's what the
also kind of hilarious to point out here is China is 5%, while we hear that China is this massive global threat. They're going after everyone. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill your dog. They're going to kill your dog's best friend. Like, that's what we hear constantly. And yet China is 5%, a tiny sliver compared to the United States at 40%. And on top of that, China has one military base outside of China. The United States has roughly 800. But anyway.
So again, the latest figures to so according to this graph, which is the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, ranks the UK as the 6th biggest major arms exporter. Others rank them as second because, again, they're called collaborative projects between the UK and some other European partners. Either way, they fucking export a lot. But again, nowhere near what the US does. And this article by Declassified UK shows that even just the UK exports, are fueling a global climate breakdown. And that's just, again, looking at the UK. Now, the most vulnerable countries that this report found are Pakistan and Bangladesh, to which the UK has approved military export licenses worth over $750 million since 2008. Armed conflict already affects 40% of the 40 most vulnerable countries in the world, according to the Geneva Academy. And as the climate crisis worsens, the UK is exporting more weapons than ever. So basically, there's a correlation between the rise in climate chaos and the rise in armed conflict, which is being supported and fueled by arms exports by the global north, such as the UK, and as I pointed out, more so the United States, which further destabilizes these countries, because what they really need is support in infrastructure and support in services. You cannot float down a fucking river on an AR-15, okay? You cannot survive drought.
Them all together, like a bunch of them.
I'd like to tie a bunch of fucking politicians together and sail them down the river, but I lost my train of thought.
You cannot eat an AK-47. You cannot float down a river on an AK-47.
That is true.
That was your train of thought, I think.
Yes, I think I said AR-15, but I see your point.
Well, I just wanted to add here that, like, this seems like something people don't think about, like, oh, there's a connection between arms trade and arms exports and global climate violence. And it's like, yeah, of fucking course. Sending a bunch of large military weaponry to places that are struggling because of the climate crisis ends in larger violence. It'd be like if you have a neighborhood where it's really not going well and the people are really struggling and they're really having a hard time in about 15 different ways, and then you send them all guns. It's like, and before that, they didn't have guns. It's like, odds are you're going to end up with some violence eventually if shit's going that bad. Doesn't matter what type of person it is. They all have guns. Shit's getting really bad. Then gun violence. However, when you have a neighborhood where shit's getting really bad and everybody is not armed to the teeth, less likely you're going to see a lot of gun violence.
Well, and that there's also there's some kind of infrastructure in place or systems in place to help people.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I mean, this article is focusing mostly on the 40 nations that are most climate vulnerable and how the UK has exported military equipment to them since 2008, which is just like a stunning list. Stunning in a bad way, not like, oh, beautiful. Just absolutely despicable numbers, like $36 million of pounds of weapons, pounds as in the money, not like carrying. Well, I mean, who the fuck names their currency pounds? It's annoying.
You have to say pounds sterling.
Pounds sterling. Yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
Which, by the way, was also the name of my teacher when I went to school in London. His name was Pound Sterling.
Okay. $36 million pounds to Somalia. 40 million pounds to Madagascar, and these are among the 40 most climate vulnerable countries. But it doesn't just affect these nations, as this article points out as well. For instance, when the UK sent a 1 billion pounds sterling military aid package to Ukraine, they shifted money from the climate finance budget in order to do so. So this is, of course, because you have to get it from fucking somewhere, right?
They found the money in the climate budget to send. So they do know there's a connection between arms and climate crisis. They're taking the climate crisis money,
right,
using it to buy weapons. Great.
And of course, there's the direct effect that weapons have on the environment. For instance, from the extraction of raw materials through to production by arms companies. They're used by armed forces, decommissioning, and end-of-life disposal. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN has warned that conventional weapons, landmines, and improvised explosive devices leach heavy metals into the soil. And the manufacturing and testing of weapons are also responsible for soil pollution. And lest we forget, the UK just sent a bunch of fucking depleted uranium shells to Ukraine, which are filled with anybody? A depleted uranium, which of course then fucking leaches in to groundwater soil. And we already know what happens to people who come into contact with that. They fucking die, excruciating deaths from cancer and things like that. So on many different levels, this is a horrific correlation between arms exports and climate chaos.
And let's see, where's that one?
What one?
I wanted to show the various this chart, which if you'd like to describe in terms of pie shape,
you know what?
I'll let you. This chart.
You can click on it to get the full size.
You can click on it.
That's what. Never mind.
Look, oh, wait. Oh, there we go. It's showing the different weapons contractors and how much they contribute to the, which sounds like a positive.
I know, I hate that word.
How much rot they contribute to our society. Anyway, by far in the lead is Lockheed Martin, then Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, BAE Systems, which is a British company, Norinco, Avic. But really, the vast majority of these sales are like the top 6 companies. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, and General Dynamics. And they are, in many ways, the companies that own our American politicians, at least in decisions on war and peace, which is not, there are no decisions on peace. It's just all war. Mm-hmm. So anyway, thought we should show you who the culprits are. Name the names. Yeah. These are the motherfuckers that are war profiteers, which should always be illegal, war profiteering.
Well, as should war, but here we are.
All right, let's get to, this is the 1-year anniversary.
It was,
yeah, not today. Thank goodness. Not on my birthday. Not on my fucking birthday. 1 year of the assault on a woman's right to choose. And there are various articles and studies on how that's going in this country.
I have all of the articles, and I'm sorry that I inundated you with these articles.
That's okay.
So we're not going to start on that one.
Okay.
But you can hold on that image if you like.
See, the only thing about giving me lots of articles, which I think is a good thing, is that then I just pull up all the wrong articles as you go through them.
Do you have the Washington Post?
No, it won't load.
Oh, okay. Fuck it. Well, just share.
That's literally the only one I don't have.
I'll just share the.
Unless I were to pay them, it basically is a giant thing that says pay.
I just sent them I signed up with a bullshit email that I use for all my bullshit, and I get like 5 free articles a month, whatever. That's fucking important.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so it's been a year and now a little bit more since the Dobbs decision.
Can I just throw this in here? Yes. A couple of people are talking about Yard Rock 2024 because Yard Rock is anti-war, never supported any of our wars, never supported any of these weapons contractors, never took in $1 from any of these weapons contractors. By far, Yadwak 2024. That's what they say in Boston. I was just up in Boston campaigning for him, and everybody was like, Yadwak. Anyway. He's just on issues of weapons contractors. He's amazing. And everybody should check out yardrock2024.com. There it is.
Boulder together.
And just a reminder, it's actually higher than this. I just haven't taken the time to calculate it all yet, but we have already erased $27,400 of medical debt for struggling Americans. That's not a joke. I know that some of this is satire, but
wait, what?
$27,400 of medical debt has been erased for struggling Americans based on the campaign of one small grayish brown rock. Thank you. So everybody should check out the site. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so circling back to something that's not funny or entertaining. So since, and then he chuckles.
I bet we'll make it entertaining. Just you wait.
Just you wait.
Just you wait.
So it's been a year and then some since Roe v. Wade was struck down. And since that time, since then, some 14 states have prohibited abortion, and another 6 have added restrictions on the basic component of reproductive health care. Now, I want to start off with some cool shit that's going on in terms of how people are working around this. And that is that people are sending from states that do not have abortion restrictions, they are sending people abortion pills. So a new procedure adopted in mid-June by one of the largest abortion pill suppliers, the Europe-based Aid Access, allows U.S. medical professionals in certain states that have passed abortion shield laws to prescribe and mail pills directly to patients in anti-abortion
And
states.
just for one second, go back to the title of this article. It says blue state doctors launched the abortion pill pipeline, which sounds like they're trying to make it sound like a bad thing, but I'm just like, fucking yeah.
I don't know. Are they trying to say?
I don't know if they are or not. Whoever came up with the term, they may not have come up with the term. But anytime you throw in pipeline, like the school to prison pipeline, it's never a good thing. It's never like the fudge chocolate pipeline or the.
But there are people who think that pipelines are good.
Yeah, but they're not the ones reading these articles.
I bet. Oh, are you fucking? It's the Washington Post, dude. How many people?
They don't read the one. They don't read the one on the abortion access. You're telling me ExxonMobil CEOs give a flying shit about abortion access?
Lee, you'd be surprised how many ugly ass old white dudes care about abortion access.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
If they cared enough, they run the country. They would.
Do you see what's happening?
What's happening?
That's what we're talking about here. It's only because these ugly ass old white dudes care so much about abortion that it is illegal now in several states.
Oh, you mean they care in that way? I thought you were saying they all have mistresses and they're trying to make sure they don't have kids with their mistresses.
No. I'm saying they care because they are afraid of the ability for people to have autonomy over their bodies.
Oh, that. Okay, gotcha. I was thinking of it backwards, but yeah.
That this person has a good point. Don't kill babies unless they're in the third world. Very good point. That is how these people think. But so, okay, this company Aid Access previously was only for Europe-based doctors to prescribe abortion pills to women in states where abortion is restricted, and then shipped those pills internationally, which took forever and was more expensive. Now, there are telemedicine shield laws, which have been enacted over the past year in New York, Massachusetts, Washington, Vermont, and Colorado, which explicitly protect abortion providers who mail pills to restricted states from inside their borders, which is fucking awesome. Now, in less than a month, 7 US-based providers affiliated with Aid Access have mailed 3,500 doses of abortion pills to people in anti-abortion states. And that means that this small group of doctors alone are on track to help facilitate some 42,000 abortions in restricted states over the next year. Awesome. And it says if more doctors and nurses sign up, the numbers could climb even higher. So these shield laws.
For some reason, this one I was able to open.
Oh, okay. So these shield laws are what allow these doctors to send these pills from. So like one of these doctors, for instance, is sitting in New York and she's sending abortion pills to the people who need abortion access in those 14 or 6 states that have extreme restrictions on it. So, and they're hoping that more people will sign up to be a part of it. If you are an abortion provider, or if you were one, where the fuck did that go?
That's what they said of a woman's right to choose. Yeah, I finally got a laugh. Normally, I just get groans.
Oh, that's good. Oh.
All right, now that you guys have heard it, can I just point out that when Eleanor really laughs, for some reason she does it in the most melodic, like it goes like up a key. That one, it's amazing. I don't know how one accomplishes that. It's like do re mi.
Stop
it. Do a dear.
Lee, god damn it. Okay, so if you are, or if you know of somebody, God, now it looks like I'm crying. Okay, who is an abortion provider or has been one and wants to support in this way, they can go to aidaccess.org. and they can sign up to be one of these doctors who provides that access via the SHIELD laws.
Aid access.
Now, again, you would have to be in a state that does not already have one of these horrific bans.
Oh.
So, and there's another kind of call to action. What are you looking for?
I was going to put the aid access on the screen, but I can't find it.
It's
Oh,
right there.
it looked like that. Anyway, go ahead.
So there's another call to action here. This one with regards to what academic doctors and doctors can do to fight this. And this article is by a Martin Donahoe, written for Truth Out. And he points out that academic medical centers are the logical leaders to undertake civil disobedience, as in providing abortion care, for the following reasons. 1, they are the setting for the training of future physicians. 2, they share a commitment to providing sound, science-based, ethical, human rights-oriented care, which respects the sanctity of the doctor-patient relationship. And 3, they have large numbers of supportive physicians, public and legal support. So the point that this article is making is that these centers need to act in civil disobedience against these horrific laws that are cropping up around the country. And that he writes, all academic medical centers in the U.S. should commit to continuing to provide full reproductive health care, including abortion, regardless of state laws. Such a commitment, supported by deans and department chairs, could be facilitated within a week, given extensive formal and informal links between institutional leaders. Furthermore, health professional societies should commit to moving all national meetings and board exams from any state which makes abortion illegal. So again, like, these organizations of physicians and physicians committees or communities or whatever the fuck have an obligation and the opportunity to basically, what's the word?
I don't know. Justice.
Punish these shitty states for their policy against reproductive health.
And can I just say here that it also upends the fact that many of these states and these people want to ban any kind of pill that could stop you from producing a child, shows that their initial arguments about, like, oh, well, when it has a heartbeat, when it has this, when it has that, when it's got hair in its armpits, whatever they say, those were all bullshit arguments, because now they want to block pills that you take like the day after, when there's nothing. And they even want to block those, which shows that they don't actually mean the thing they're said about, oh, it has this or that or this.
No, it's never been about the child, because if it were, then you'd have free child care, you'd have paid family leave, you'd have all of those things, universal health care.
Right.
It's not about the child. It's about forcing women to be broodmares for the state.
Broodmares for the state is an excellent use of language.
Thank you.
We're going to continue on this topic, and we're also going to get to another topic about workers, but we're going to do it at rumble.com/Lee Camp. So join me over there, and you can make my birthday wish happen of 50,000 followers at rumble.com/Lee Camp. It's free to watch there. It's free to click follow, and it's free to make my birthday happy.
Because me singing did not.
Although you doing your laugh actually did. But rumble.com/Lee Camp. So join me over there. Join us over there. We'll be there. And you can also become a member at leecamp.locals.com. There's a free version you can sign up for now. So I hope you at minimum do that.